Welcome back. So I'm being dramatic when I say this, but y'all done bullied Paul George out of his podcasting. He's taking a break to focus on a championship. He made a statement saying, I want to let the Podcast P family know that after today's episode with Dwight Howard, I plan to take a break from the podcast just to focus on getting my body right, getting my mentality right, and, help the squad make a push toward our goal to finish the season out and give ourselves a chance to be in contention to compete for a championship. So, Mase, what do you think of him letting this go for now?
Podcast P. Woo! Yes! Podcast P! Keeping the main thing the main thing. Thank you for not letting those Philadelphia people raid your house, break into your car, and remind you why you are a 76er. Because they were losing their patience. So I'm happy for Paul George. I'm so happy. I wouldn't have said throw the whole show away because I think your show is really cool. And I think, if you just put basketball first, you still can do that podcast. But I'm so thankful that he came with this response. A lot of times when people go through things, the response tells you the character of the person, not the what people do to you, because what people do to you, is not your business. It's how you respond that is your business. So him hearing all these rumblings, then you got the GM, you got the teammate, everybody like, man, Paul George getting all this money and he's not really playing and he got to take care of his body, but he's mainly focusing on his podcast. And I'm just saying this is all hearsay. I'm not saying any of this is true. But when you hear all these rumors, how you respond shows a lot about who you are. It's like LeBron when he heard all those rumblings and then he came back and got those 2 championships. And then he heard he couldn't do it in Cleveland. And then he made his way back to Cleveland and got the championship. So as you can tell, we just call it like it is. It is what it is. If you're playing great, we're talking great. If you're playing bad, we're talking bad. So don't put that on us. What do they call that? When you start putting your views on other people, projecting?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't project when they come to it is what it is. It is what it is just a mirror of how you really look that nobody else is telling you.
Okay. And then, Cam, what do you think about Podcast B taking a break?
I think this is crazy, to be honest with you. He must got like Podcast P seriously though on some. This is kind of crazy. He must really have an alter ego Podcast P for him to be like, yo, I don't know. Listen, I don't know how much he making on this podcast, but I'm pretty sure if it was anywhere close, half, 25% of what he makes in the NBA, they would be talking about it. So I don't think this has anything to do with a bunch of money for his podcast. Not saying he ain't making a few M's, and I'm not saying that he ain't making no bread on it, but it's nowhere near what the Sixers is paying him. So he says he has a whole podcast, an announcement to say that he's not doing the podcast to focus on making a run at the end of the season to possibly be in the play-in. So you figured that out in March. It's March. You say, I would be so mad if I'm the Sixers fans, if I'm the GM, if I'm the coach, the nigga said, in March, you know what, I want to buckle down to help this team out and get to where we need to get. You wasn't thinking about that in October? That's crazy.
Yeah.
But the craziest shit is this. This is why I say he must really have the alter ego, because he put Podcast P away, told him, yo, I'm going to miss you. I'll see you after the season. It's going to be tough without you, but I got to do what I got to do. And the nigga, even though they lost to the Knicks, the nigga had 25, 8, and 7. He was looking like Paul George a little bit out there. More than we seen this season, but it looked like a really decent Paul George. So Podcast P murder really has to get put away.
Yeah, he got to bury it. He got to bury it. Pause. Yeah, he got to bury it.
How the same day you announce you putting Podcast P away, 25, 8, and 7 in the Garden when you haven't been playing well?
And this is what people don't like to hear, Killer.
But it's March. Niggas saying March. You gotta get
October.
I'm not trying to. Come on, man.
October he was Podcast P. November he was Podcast P. Came back from Thanksgiving, Podcast P in December. Came back from Christmas, Podcast P in January. Valentine's come around, Podcast P again.
Facts.
And then on March, he's saying, I want you to see how this sounds. So 75% of the season is gone, and it just clicked on in his mind that I play basketball.
Just to add, this is also his first game with 20-plus points this month.
Yes, this is what I'm saying. And when we say this, people say, oh, you taking jabs. Taking jabs at what? Like Floyd said, hating on who? Yo, 75% of the team, 75% of the season is gone, and it's just clicked on in his mind. And this is what happens when people don't tell you the truth. Now, somebody may say, Mase, you got his number. You should have said that to him. I will make sure before this comes out that he did get a text about this, because I want people to hold me to the truth, and I want to hold people to the truth. And those are the only people I want to be around. I don't want to be around somebody you got to tell them they're good when they're not. And I don't want nobody to tell me I'm good when I'm not. That's why Cam is cool, because when he called me, he'd be like, yo, Murder, we slipping, bro. Or he'll tell me, yo, bro, you need to be doing this. And I don't ever get upset. That's been our relationship since we've been kids. Right. Like, yo, Killer, you gotta run, bro.
Right.
Like, if I see he was cheating in Central Park, I told on him. I hold him accountable.
He's still mad about that, though.
I hold him accountable. You just found it out, though. Just like we just found out that Playoff P, Podcast P is back. It be like that sometimes.
No, that's what I was saying. Like, yo, the nigga found out in March, he got to put the nigga away to focus. I'm just trying to say, see, I think, listen, today I don't really got to say it like you're saying everything. But see, that's what I was saying before you actually broke the months down. Forget the fans and people like us who talk about this. The niggas who pay him have to be on fire. We've been paying you all these months, but you wasn't focused on helping us get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
What do we? So he worked to me. He's a full-time podcaster and a part-time basketball player until last night. He's back being a basketball player. That's all. It's wild, but shout out to the GOAT.
So yeah. I do want to reiterate his quote really quick. So he said, give ourselves a chance to be in contention, to compete for a championship. Do you think that they have a strong chance at that?
Okay.
Mase?
Now I'm going to switch. Pause. I'm going to switch into what most sports analysts do when they're cool with a player. This is what they'll say. Well, he's going through things with his family. Maybe the podcast is therapy for him. They love to put it in a realm where you can't refute it. This generation is great at excuses. If you can't do the job, give the money back. That's my quote. If you can't do the job, give the money back. If you're not going to show up, give the money back, bro. People love to spend the money and not do the job. If you can't do the job, give the money back. That would be what I would say to that.
Valid. And then Cam.
But Murder, the question was, do you think the Philly got a chance?
No. That's why we need the money back. That's why we need the money back. Philly absolutely doesn't have a chance. Saying does Philly have a chance is like running a marathon and you skip Brooklyn, you skip Manhattan, you skip Long Island, and you're gonna start running in the Bronx? No, there's no way you're gonna finish with us. We're already 3/4 already through the boroughs. You gotta catch up. So I might be running a marathon this year, Killer. I wanted to tell you that. I might be running a marathon.
Yeah. All right. Sound good. Make sure you don't cheat.
For one of your things, take a cab to.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna run the marathon and beat Diddy's score. What do you think about that?
That's cool. I don't have anything to say. I'm out of it.
I'm here for greatness. You hear me?
That's the only reason we're supposed to be here anyway.
Yeah.
Do something great again.
Yeah.
Right. Make Harlem great again, Nate.
Yeah.
Anyway, seriously, the Sixers, I don't think they have a chance this year, especially with Joel Embiid probably going to end up shutting it down. But the interesting thing is this, they're only 2.5 games outside of the play-in. That's what's crazy about the play-in, is that the play-in, you could be fucking up all year, end up getting an attempt seed, win the 2 playoff games, and then be in the real playoffs. Imagine that happen. Now, I'm not saying they would go anywhere in the playoffs, but let's say the Philly ends up making it to the play-in, the 10th spot, 9th spot, whatever. Win the 2 playoff games or whoever they got to play, and now they're in the playoffs. It's a whole new conversation. Now I'm more mad at Podcast P, because you've been fucking with niggas all year and you could have been doing this. That's what you're saying? Period. But I don't think they're going anywhere. I'm not the last thing I'm saying. I don't think that they're going to make it, but it's not impossible for them to make it. And if they make it, that would be wow. Go ahead, Murder.
Yeah, and part of him not playing leads to more wear and tear on Joel Embiid. So even that is contributed and is calculated in the rebuke that I'm giving him right now. But if he changes his mind, he want to do right, I'll forgive him, and he gotta get back to balling though. But anytime somebody up here slacking, we gotta tell them the truth.
Yeah.
What you want, nigga? Everything, nigga, super size. 2 Big Macs, like when they doing them 2 for $5.